Hello, Grandma Kimmy's darlings. Well, I've come on today to do a couple of bits. One to say, oh dear, Ellis isn't feeling too good. He doesn't want to be cuddled. He doesn't want anyone to talk to him. All he wants to do is just sit up with all of his lovies. He's also pinched Grandma's, Kimmy's, Rosie and Jim. Do you remember them? Little rag dolls off of the boat? Do you remember? My daughter brought me those from a charity shop. And I love them. My children used to watch it when they was little. And when she saw them in the charity shop, she bought them quickly. Right, so I thought I'd come on and talk to you about a couple of the tags that I've seen. I saw Holly do them, and I think I saw Suzanne from Suzanne's Babies and obviously Holly Church. I saw her do them. I watched one of Holly's videos this morning. She was changing the babies and she did this tag. But if you don't know Holly Church, go over and have a look. Her videos are funny, smart and enjoyable to watch. So go have a look. Anyway, the tags. The first one was a summer tag done by Canadian Reborn Mama 1. It was really good. I like the idea of this summer tag. So I'm going to tell you what I did as a child, summertime. My mum and dad didn't go on holiday very much. All they seemed to do was work. But I was very lucky to be able to go away on holiday with my auntie. We called her Auntie Jumbo. Her name was Auntie Joyce. My Auntie Jumbo and her husband, my Uncle Dennis. And we used to go caravanning with them, which was great fun because we never went anywhere, so it's a huge adventure. And we used to go to stay in forests. Which I've forgotten the name of, which is ridiculous. The New Forest. How ridiculous is that? Anyway, we used to go and stay there. So we'd travel up, and there were several things that I remember. The first I remember is it must have been in the 60s, because I must have been about 9. The main thing I remember is we never went out to eat. Maybe once a year when my dad went for his pigeon dinner, which is, my dad raised pigeons. It was his hobby. Excuse me, wobbling, but I'm getting comfortable. He raised pigeons, and once a year we used to go out to what to me was a fancy dinner. But we didn't go out to dinner very often because money was tight most of the time, but never went without, as I've told you before. Anyway, we spent... Oh, you moved, peeps. Went on a little travelling journey. So anyway, we went to stay up in the New Forest, which was fantastic. On the way there, we stopped off at a pub. Now remember, this is like 40 odd years ago. I can remember the meal in there as if I was eating it today. It was shepherd's pie, and I can still taste it. I'm telling you, I have never tasted a shepherd's pie like it before or after. It was absolutely delicious. Whether it was because we had been travelling all day to get there, I don't know, and I was mega hungry. But the meal was just fantastic. I can taste it. If I think about it, I can taste it. The next thing is, when we got to the New Forest, there was this pit. Now, whether it was said just to keep us away from it or not, I don't know. But we were told it was a snake pit, which scared us half to death for the rest of the holiday. My cousin Linda and I. We were a bit naughty. We did used to go near it, but we just tried our luck. But we were lucky and we didn't fall in or anything. Not that I think there were snakes in there. The other thing was that obviously the New Forest has its own load of ponies, New Forest ponies, and it was nothing unusual to wake up to a pony peering in at you through the window. At first, the first couple of days, me and Linda were a little bit dubious of these things, but after a while you got to realise they didn't want you, they just want to see if you got anything worth eating. Then the other thing was, in the 60s, I don't know if any of you will remember this, but in the UK we had a real fad of paper underwear. Now I was young, as I say 8, but I was always on the portly side. And my auntie brought us knickers, paper knickers, so she wouldn't have to wash, to fit our size. Well, she brought them to fit my size, which would have been, I suppose, 7 to 8. But sadly, my bum was bigger than 7 to 8. And there is a fantastic picture of me playing tennis, which they have taken because they thought it was hilarious. I've got a little cotton dressing with buttons all the way up the back. And as I'm playing tennis with my cousins, one of the flaps has come up, and there you can see my paper knickers with a 3-cornered tear in them. Yes, my bum burst my knickers, and that was it. And I shall never forget the embarrassment of realising that that had happened and they had taken photographs. So that's one of my summer memories. Paper ripped knickers. And at 8 it was a big thing. The other thing was, Canadian Reborn Mama asked, lake, pool or ocean? Well, I like to swim in a river. I haven't done it for many, many years because I'm far too old for all that messing around now. But I used to go to a river where I live called the River Rother. It's a long river. There's lots of parts to it. But on the way to Hastings, down from where I live, there was a lovely spot by a bridge. And me and my friend then, a young lady called Iris, went swimming there. And it was the best swim I've ever had. I have swum in ponds and lakes and oceans, but the river was tremendous. I don't know whether it was the moving water and it was fresh and it was really lovely. I don't know. I'm not a great lover of seawater. Don't like the flavour of it, to be honest with you, so I tend not to swim in the sea. One of the things I can remember about the sea was my older cousins used to stand on the water breaks and do somersaults and then dive into the water. Well, I thought I was big enough to do it. I was a good 3 years younger than them. I got up on the breakwater and I did my somersault, but once I got in the water, obviously I didn't know if I was upside down or what it was. And I can remember that sheer panic of putting my feet up and there being no bottom, no sea bottom. And I didn't know where I was, and a sudden panic, but as luck would have it, up I came, my head bobbed up and I was okay. But I assure you, I did it the once, I didn't do it again, and I realised how clever my cousins were. They were big boys. They were able to do such things. The next tag was from Littlefoot Nursery. Do I buy babies that look like me? Well, actually, no. I sometimes see a baby and I think, oh, that reminds me of one of my grandchildren, my granddaughters, my grandson, or my own children. I very rarely buy them because they look like me. I do have one really reminds me of my grandson, Gabriel. Every time I look at it, I think of him, but it's not actually like him, but it reminds me of him, I guess. One of my babies, Kimmy, has red hair. That's because my daughters had red hair, and when I was little, I had strawberry blonde to red hair. So I don't know. I don't think I do. I do look at a kid and go, oh, look at his eyes, or look at his bone structure. I have a tendency to buy my babies because I just think they're stunning. I also have a tendency to buy my babies, and you're going to hate me for this, but I look at them and I think, oh, bless. He, she has only got a face that a mother could love. Who else is going to love that baby with their tousled hair or their crooked face or their too highlighted eyes? And yes, I'm a sucker for somebody that needs extra love. So yeah, all my babies are beautiful to me. Of course they are. I can't say they're going to be suited to what other people would think are beautiful, but to me, they are. So anyway, I'm going to say bye. Love to all. I hope I answered the tags correctly. Love you lots. See you soon. Bye from Ellis. I'm sure he'll be better by the time we see him next. Take care. Love you loads.